Hey friends, welcome back to the channel with another movie reaction in our Halloween movie rundown. We're here with ParaNorman. Comes to me highly recommended and I'm very much looking forward to it. I know that it's a stop motion thing and also comes from the same production that does Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings, which I also both need to watch at some point. Anyway guys, if you want to watch the full reaction or you want to see movie reactions a week early, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. Otherwise, take a quick moment to leave a like and let's get started. It feels very campy. Oh my god.
Grandma says, can you turn up the heating? Her feet are cold.
Whoa.
Your grandmother is dead!
I know.
Then why do you...
I know you and Grandma were very close, but we all have to move on.
Stop indulging him. I'm nothing if I'm not liberal.
I'm nothing if not liberal. Who says that, besides people who are conservative? So apparently he sees dead people. Is Grandma the only one he sees?
Good morning.
Apparently not.
Hi, Mrs. Hardman. You look nice today. I like what you've done with your hair.
Live Hollow. Great place to hang. Wow. Whoa.
Norman! Are you listening to me, boy?
Norman, wait up. I keep telling you, Neil. I like to be alone. So do I. Let's do it together. Can you see ghosts like everywhere all the time?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right?
We're gonna go play with the dead dog in the garden, and we're not even gonna have to dig him up first.
Digging what? What? What'd you say?
Good.
Smells his own butt.
Happy to see you. Who's a good boy? Huh?
Aw.
Good boy.
Oh!
That's it.
Oh, here we go again.
Oh no. Not again.
And all of a sudden he's in the upside down.
Did he say the dead are coming?
No.
Yes! The tree told me!
So convincing.
Didn't ask to be born this way.
Funny. Neither did we.
Jeez.
He's my dad. He shouldn't be afraid of me.
He's not afraid of you. He's afraid for you.
Feels the same. Scented toilet paper. Single ply. Uncle.
You died?
Yeah.
Read from the book at the spot the witch was buried.
But this is crazy.
Do I look crazy to you?
I
Swear!
You mean like the F word?
I mean promise!
I swear.
Hey,
This guy's gonna continue to be a problem.
hello?
He's dead.
Mr. Prendergast?
His spirit moved on too. Yikes. Rigor mortis, make it hard to get it out. Oh! He's dead already. Why am I like... Oh my god. Oh god. Get out! Oh no. Ah!
Read from the book. Stop the curse. Go home and pretend this never happened.
Ooh, what you got there, Geekula?
No! Get back!
Oh, that's what
Sunset.
happens when Alvin gets around here. Uh-oh, is that Alvin? Uh-oh, Alvin's gonna make me run home to Mommy.
You must stop!
What?
Norman, what are you doing?
The zombie was talking to him?
Are they gonna try to eat our brains?
I think you'll be safe.
Oh, thank God.
That's an insult.
Get the witch's grave. It wasn't there. I was reading the book in the wrong place.
You were okay.
Hide!
He was supposed to go to the witch's grave. Nope.
That was Norman!
He's okay?
Ah! Oh!
Guys, maybe we should actually drive away now.
Oh, right.
This kind of has a Goonies feel to it.
I'm supposed to read from the book at the witch's grave. We've got to go back to the graveyard. She wasn't buried with the others. I don't know where else to look. I have an idea.
People found guilty of witchcraft weren't considered people anymore.
They were
Norman,
burned.
your witch was buried someplace else.
Oh.
Quick, she said go to the town hall.
Is that protein powder I saw?
Baby, I'm so sorry.
Baby?
All right.
Oh, the car.
Get through this together.
You want it so bad?
I told you! Zombies! It's the witch's curse!
Mama?
Oh.
Kill him in the head!
Wow, zombies are more afraid of the humans than the humans are of the zombies.
What do you think you're doing firing at civilians? That is for the police to do.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
We've only... Just go! Get out!
Jeez, that was dramatic.
Ugh, come on.
No.
Dude, you're really heavy.
I'm not speaking to you.
Aww. He's gonna talk to the zombies? Oh boy. They're here to help. Maybe.
Do you think this has got anything to do with Norman?
Of course not.
Everyone look! Is this what you want?
Necromancer!
No, he's... No. Whoa.
Agatha Prendergast of His Majesty's Province of Massachusetts.
Pendergrast. That's the same name as his uncle.
No!
She's a
Do
child.
you have any... will be hanged by the neck.
Whoa.
Till you be dead.
Leave me alone, or I'll make you sorry! I'll make all of you sorry! Here's your book. Try reading it yourself.
What will you do?
Something nobody ever did before. I've got to go talk to her. Wait! Oh my gosh.
Son, step away from the zombie!
I spoke to them, and it's not what you think. The curse isn't about the zombies hurting you. It's about you hurting them.
No one's listening. Uh-oh.
Leave him alone!
Aww.
You all need to stop trying to kill my brother. You're adults. Stop it. I know
Stop
that
it.
this seems...
Is this convincing enough? Really?
So, why are we here?
Someone's got to talk to her, Dad.
I don't want to go to sleep. And you can't make me.
Whoa. Whoa.
Burn the book into dust.
Once upon a time, long ago, there was a little girl.
What?
She could see and do things that no one could understand. And that made them scared of her. I don't like this story. She turned away from They did something awful, but that doesn't mean you should too. All that's left of you now is mean and horrible. That's not true. Then stop. Get away from me. Remember.
Oh, man. Poor little girl.
Sometimes when people get scared, They say and do terrible things. I think you got so
Sure
scared
do.
that... I just want my mommy. That story you were telling. How does it end? I think that's up to you.
You join a mob and you say things. I was merely inhabiting the role.
Okay.
The others, they pushed me into it.
That sounds great, Kathy.
Kathy.
You know, you're gonna love my boyfriend. He's like a total chick flick nut.
Your grandma here, is she?
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Aww.
So, what's happening now?
It's a very sweet movie. Oh wow. Get to see the process in which they built Norman body. That was cool. I really enjoyed this film. At times it can be a sad film, sometimes heartfelt, but it really turns some tropes on their heads. The zombies didn't even try to attack anybody. They still had their human motivations, and they had regrets for what they did during their lives for condemning Agatha. Poor girl. And yeah, so the antagonist of the film, who's been messing up everything, it's been Agatha all along. Sorry everyone, I had to. But yeah, definitely a very Goonies vibe to this movie though. Replace secret treasure and traps with spooky stuff, and you essentially have it. Mitch is the same character archetype as Brand, working out all the time, even shares a color scheme of white and red. And if I close my eyes, I can almost imagine Neil lifting up his shirt and jiggling. But yeah, the visuals for this film are kind of stunning. I think this is only the second stop motion film I've ever seen, the first one being The Nightmare Before Christmas when I was a child. And I really appreciated the after credits. There was a quick time lapse of Norman being built, and the idea that to make this movie they had to go in and move the characters little by little, it's kind of incredible. And I know we're not talking about a new art form or anything, but it's really just fascinating to know how this movie was made. Obviously, there was some CGI in there too, which I guess is another like further evolution of the stop motion form. There was some really solid humor in this film. Norman's uncle dying, coming back into his body, celebrating, and then promptly dying again. Coming out of the toilet to get to Norman, telling him to grab the book. And then of course, Norman having to pry the book out of Mr. Prendergast's cold, dead hands. Rigor mortis is definitely a thing, but dying's never been so funny before. And turns out that he had been reading this fairy tale to Agatha every year so that she wouldn't break out and go on a wild rampage like she did in this film. But Norman makes the mistake of reading the book to the zombies instead. And yeah, the zombies, like I mentioned before, still had their minds, just obviously a lot of decay, so they were wandering around trying to reach Norman and tell him what to do. And meanwhile, they're kind of raised out of the grave so that humans can torment them as revenge for what they did to Agatha. So that's really interesting as well. And it didn't even occur to me until after Norman had that vision of them that they hadn't actually hurt anyone. And actually, people were attacking them. There was a little girl biting that zombie's arm. That was really good. My God. But yeah, interesting that the movie suggested that Norman and Agatha are related, but didn't really touch on it or expand on it, because Norman's uncle's last name was Prendergast, and so was Agatha's. So I don't think it's a very common last name or anything. I do like that there's the word Gast in it, and they live in the same town, so many years apart. And given that Norman's last name is Babcock, I'm guessing Uncle Prendergast is his mother's brother. But yeah, I like Norman's character arc a lot. Well, he himself doesn't change too much, but he stays true to himself and uses how he's different to save the town, bring closure to a little girl who was really wronged, and also made some friends and deepened his connection to his family. I like his and Neil's relationship. It's really cute. Alvin, though, oh my God, I hate him. I love to hate him. So well done by the writers by making him someone I enjoyed hating. And then Agatha's story. I mean, I didn't come into this film with the notion that it's a children's film, so I wasn't shocked that they talked about child murder in this film. But in retrospect, this is meant as a kid's film, right? And they brought up some very serious topics. And I'm wondering if this is a lot of kids' first scary movies and one of their first interactions or with death, exposures to death. And this month of Halloween, I've already mentioned how public perception has changed so much regarding the supernatural. There's the whole sexy vampire thing going on. And actually, in the commentary for Hotel Transylvania, I talked about how they burned witches in the past, and how in modern times, if I met a witch, I'd want to be their friend. I wouldn't want to burn them. And we get to kind of see that play out in this film too. Agatha and Norman both share the power to speak to the dead, and even though Norman is treated poorly, he's not executed for it. And it's a bunch of kids haranguing him for being weird and different, bullying him. It's his father treating him as different and making him feel like something's wrong with him, despite being nothing if not liberal. Still very bad, but not as bad as it was for Agatha, obviously. Yeah, people are still extremely wary of Norman. People tend to act they still tend to act out of fear with things they don't understand. They resort to violence before they resort to compassion and empathy and trying to understand. But yeah, Norman happened to be born at what might be considered the right time. Everyone eventually accepts him. I think if he was born back in Agatha's time, he probably would have been executed too. Even just a generation ago, his uncle was looked at as a psycho outcast. And so when Norman finds out what happened to Agatha, he empathizes with her and wants to help her move on. She's been suffering and holding a grudge for hundreds of years. Just poor girl. That whole last sequence, though, her using the lightning, Norman telling her story in lieu of the fairy tale, the music, just everything was really, really well done. And I love that in a movie about the supernatural where Agatha has so many powers, there are zombies running around. The climax of the film had nothing to do with all of that. It was just a simple heart-to-heart conversation between Norman and Agatha, one that really focuses on compassion and maybe not forgiveness, but finding peace despite the ways you were wronged. And so while this movie is a horror comedy movie, it's also a children's film because there are important lessons to learn here. The big one, of course, being having compassion for those that are different, and also not to demonize what we don't understand. It's a very important message for kids and for adults too, I guess. But yeah, there's something to be said about the commodification of this aspect of the supernatural too. The whole town is a tourist location because of these legends of curses and everything. All the businesses are named after something that alludes to the supernatural. They're profiting off the reputation of people who have already been wronged, and then they treat those people like monsters, like trash, when they are out in the public eye. So quite similar to actually how we have sports teams that have operated for a while. The Washington football team used to use an offensive term for Native American. The Cleveland baseball team, I haven't heard what they're renaming themselves as yet, but they're moving away from the previous name as well. So it was an interesting real world analogy, because yeah, we spent a lot of time oppressing certain groups and then profiting off of them. And it's an interesting real world analogy. I think one more lesson this movie tries to teach is the importance of recognizing the past and actively dealing with it. I think we have to recognize and reckon with the evils of our past generations, and we have to try to do what we can to make things right. And I'm not going to blame Uncle Prendergast much, since he was the only one doing anything about this situation. But society as a whole was just placating Agatha. No one tried to understand her pain or try to make things right. And it is only through compassion and love that Blythe Hollow was able to reckon with this catastrophe and finally give her some peace and just closure. And I think that's something that we struggle with so much in real life and in public discourse as well. So I think there were a lot of things we could have taken away from this movie. Anyway, like I mentioned from the start, really, really like this movie. So I'm looking forward to watching other movies by the studio, Coraline, Kubo and the Two Strings at some point. I've been wanting to watch Kubo and the Two Strings for so long now, but just haven't gotten the chance to do it. I think November and December are pretty full, maybe even into January and February. So I'll try to find room for both of them at some point in the new year. But I'm going to give this movie a 9.25. Really, really solid. I really love the messages it was trying to send. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the reaction. Leave a like, really helps with the channel. If you want to see full reactions, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. I believe the next movie is Final Destination. So that's up on Patreon right now if you're watching this on YouTube. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time with more. Bye, friends.